They're looking to get a certain problem solved. You want to figure out what problem it is that they want solved so that you can speak to them in a more relevant way. This would be another great way to do that. Because somebody, I can't remember her name right at this moment, but somebody had a good question this week, and that is, how do I hook up Facebook custom audiences to my Ontraport account? And so I thought we'd tackle this briefly. It's actually really simple. But before we do that, I want to just talk about the strategy. Why would we hook up our Facebook custom audiences with our Ontraport account? So let's start there. The big picture, remember, is that we're gathering a bunch of data about our customers through all sorts of different methods, forms and by tracking clicks and email opens and what ads they've clicked on, what your salespeople might say about them, gathering all this data and then using that data to learn about your customers and prospects, and then to take that and to turn it around and deliver more relevant experiences via messaging, SMS, email, and on the web, obviously with the pages of your website, your landing pages and so forth, and as well as on the phone through your sales team or whatever it might be. The Facebook Custom Audiences integration extends that ability to deliver relevant experiences to your prospects and customers onto the Facebook ad platform. So what does that mean? Well, we've all had the experience of clicking something on Instagram or whatever. Those look like cool shoes, or this looks like a cool app, and the next thing you know, you are seeing their ads all over the place, right? And you're seeing them on Facebook. You might be seeing them on Google. Who knows where you're seeing? But you're seeing those ads all over the place for that thing you just clicked. Well, that's called retargeting, and that is you can do that in the various platforms. And the idea is that these tools like Facebook and Google have a little bit of code. They call it a pixel. It's weird to call it that, but it's just code. And it sits on the various pages of your website, and you can just kind of write rules that say if somebody visits my website, Google and Facebook and whatever other pixels you put on your webpage will identify that visitor as somebody who visited your website. And then you can say in those ad managers, hey, anybody who visits my website, well, or visits this page on my website or whatever it might be, I want to serve them these ads. And so that's what everybody's doing. They're doing it because it works really well. The reason it works well is because it's inexpensive, basically, because that's not a cold visitor anymore. If you think about it, driving cold traffic to your website, you're just out there in the wind screaming your name, and most people aren't going to pay attention and click your stuff. So that is pretty expensive. But once they've visited you, now you're talking about a very targeted, even if you have a lot of traffic, it's a few thousand visitors a day, maybe tens of thousands of visitors a day if you're awesome. In the advertising world, that's a very small audience, and so you're only paying to advertise just to that very small audience instead of the wide world of Facebook, millions of people in an audience or whatever it might be. So, and not only is it a small audience, but it's close to your best audience. It's people who already know about you. They've already been to your website, right? So of course you want to be advertising using retargeting. That's a no-brainer. It's the first thing you should probably do because it's cheap and easy and effective. Okay, the downside of retargeting is that the way that most people do it is that you're only able typically to target people when they visit your website or when they take a particular action on your website. They visit this landing page, they fill out this form, whatever it might be. That's all good. It's a great start. But sometimes there are actions that don't happen as a visit on your website that you want to use as a way to target people in your audience. So for example, what happens if somebody comes and comes into an appointment, or say they make a phone call, say they schedule a demo on your website. Well, that is something that does happen online. But then what happens next? The sales rep says this is not a qualified person, or this is a very qualified person, or they've now taken a free trial, or the next step, or maybe they buy a product, and that happens in a part of your website where Facebook or Google can't see it, or maybe it happens offline, or who knows. In our case, our sales reps are marking our leads as qualified leads or not. That doesn't happen on a web page visit. But you still want to be able to use that information to send targeted ads. Example, in our case, we have several sort of layers of this, several steps. If somebody comes and visits our website and doesn't fill out any forms or a free trial or a demo, doesn't try to download an ebook, they just visit the website, they're going to start getting retargeted with some basically, relatively cold ads. We don't know much about you. We just know you came and visited, and now we're going to serve you some general ads. Come on back and take the next step in the relationship. The next step in the relationship is give us your email address so we can identify you, right? And so our ads will pitch them something like an ebook. Come back to download an ebook. And when they do that, what you want to then do is stop serving them the anonymous person ads and start pushing them on to the next stage in the relationship, right? As I began to say, we've all had the experience of getting advertised to, and then you go and buy the thing, and you keep getting advertised to. And you're like, you guys are dumb. I already bought this thing. You're now wasting money, wasting your ad dollars trying to get me to do the thing I already did. That's silly. So you want to again, use the information that you have stored in your CRM system, your marketing automation system, to deliver relevant ads. It's no longer relevant to buy my product buy these shoes if I already bought the shoes. Not relevant. Okay. Same with our process, right? We don't sell shoes, but we sell, first get an ebook, then get a demo, then get a trial. Then once you have a trial, we want you to log back in and complete the setup. And that's a perfect example, right? That completing of the setup, Facebook doesn't get to look inside of our app and see what you're doing in the app. We have to tell Facebook, this person hasn't set up their account yet. And so show them these particular ads. Come back and get set up. And then once they upgrade, we want to stop all that stuff, and maybe we're targeting them to come to Ontrapalooza or something like that. Okay, so relevant ads at each stage of the life cycle, whether it's a reminder to come log into your account, or a reminder to come to your demo, or maybe it's tell a friend after they're a good customer. You want to be able to set up these cadences. So that's what this integration is for. It allows us to send information about a single prospect back to Facebook, and we tell Facebook, this particular person needs to go in this bucket over here. And the bucket is of custom audience. And so what you'll do is you'll create a custom audience for each one of these stages. For example, in our case, it's an anonymous visitor. That's one particular bucket. They're anonymous visitors. We don't know who they are. So pitch them an ebook. Great. Once they've filled out an ebook form, they're not an anonymous visitor anymore. Now we want to get them to either take a demo of the product with a sales rep, or we want to get them to take a free trial. So we'll send them that ads like that. So we take them out of the first bucket, move them into the second bucket. Once they take a free trial, we take them out of the second bucket, move them into the third bucket, which is they've got a free trial. Now we're reminding them about the features they've got, reminding them to come back and log in, get set up, talk to our onboarding team, whatever it might be. Once they upgrade, we take them out of the free trial bucket and move them into the next bucket, right? So each bucket is a custom audience in Facebook, and then they'll see the correct ads and not see the incorrect ads. So that's how this thing is designed to work. Very effective strategy. It's really cool because we spend not very much money on retargeting, and because the audience is relatively small, and it's the most effective part of our entire ad spend. Of course it is, because it's people that are already engaged with our business, but it's worth doing. So just, now that you understand the strategy, I'll show you how to set this up, but it's actually really simple. So, and I'm not going to go through every step of it, because there's a bunch of little, in Facebook, there's a bunch of buttons, and you're just going to have to push those yourself. But I'll show you basically how we get there. So looking at the app, you go into administration. The first thing you're going to need to do is to turn this feature on, because we don't want to clutter the app with a bunch of functionality that you don't need if you're not using it. So you go down to advanced features and you turn on Facebook custom audiences. And that'll turn green. And there it is. It's a bit enabled. And now you will see that Facebook custom audiences has been added to your navigation menu. What does that mean? Well, I'll show you. If we go to contacts and we select a contact, all of a sudden it says Facebook on here. So I can manually take a group of contacts, maybe I want to take all in group, and send them off to Facebook, add them to this particular custom audience. Now I haven't set this up just yet, but normally my custom audiences would display there, and I just submit that. We'd send that information off to Facebook, and they would end up in that bucket. So that's one thing that the Facebook, the turning Facebook on does, is it adds that to your navigation menu. The other thing it does is it adds an element in the campaign builder. I might have to, yeah, I gotta refresh this because I just turned it on. Okay, so there's actually a little more we need to do, and we'll do that first here. So now that we've got it turned on, we actually have to connect Facebook to our Facebook account, or to our Ontraport account. So we go into the social tab here, and we click this Facebook API. And here it is. And all you do is just actually really quite simple. You just click the Continue with Facebook button. And I'm not going to do this. Well, yeah, sure, I'll do this right now. See what happens. Manage your ads. Oh, okay, yeah, done. Okay, boom, I'm connected. That was easy. All right, a couple of tips. Before you go trying to connect it, you need to have a Facebook ads account, but not a normal Facebook ads account. You have to have a Facebook Business Manager account. So this is a crucial piece of the thing. You can type in business.facebook.com, and here's the Business Manager account, and you need to have this type of account. So create a Business Manager account, and that's the kind of account that you can connect to. It's free to do, but this is the kind of account that you can connect to Ontraport. Okay, and once you get in here, you're going to see this thing. Let's see if I can. I'm not very familiar with this tool, so I'm probably going to be changes in short running errors. No, I'm just going to close this around. Okay, so here's what we got. It's going to look like this, more or less. Let's see. Okay, what is it going to say? It's got these 4 tabs: account overview, campaigns, ad sets, and ads. And those are containers. So the campaign is the highest level. You'll have ad sets inside of a campaign, maybe several ad sets, and then individual ads live in an ad set. So what do? You create a campaign in here, because remember, we're gonna send this information to Facebook from either manually, like I showed you, or from a campaign, which I'll show you in a minute. And to automate that process, which will be the most typical use case. But you need a bucket to put them in. So we need to create the bucket first in Facebook. And the bucket is going to be an ad set. So the individual buckets will be connected to custom audiences, and the audiences are set at the ad set level. So what have I done here? I created a campaign. I just clicked this button. I typed campaign name. Test again. Here, I'll do this again. Test again. And then I'll create a new ad set. Create a new ad set. Ad set name is retargeting anonymous. Let's see. Actually, let's retargeting ebook downloaders. Okay. And then we'll create a new ad later. We'll save this as a draft. So here we go. Now we are looking at this ad set. Click on here. We got the retargeting ebook downloaders. And then we go down here, and you're going to have to set this all up. So this is the stuff I'm not going to do for you because I don't know how to do it, honestly. But it's basically, you're going to have to take, if you're going to advertise on Facebook, you should take yourself a course. This is complicated stuff. You can blow a lot of money if you don't do it right. And we're not teaching you how to advertise on Facebook. We're talking about the connection here. So here you go. You're going to set this stuff up. You're going to get your budgets and schedule going. And then down here, you're going to create a new audience or use a saved audience. I don't have any audiences yet. So I'm going to create a new audience. And it's a custom audience, right? And I'm going to create new. And it's not going to be a lookalike audience. It's going to be a custom audience. So I'm creating a new custom audience. Now, this is important. You gotta. There's a certain type of audience you have to create. You want to create a customer list. This is your source, a customer list. So select that one, And okay, so you need to have a business set up, which I don't right now. I'm not going to do this. No, I'm not. So, so you'll create a custom audience. And then what you're going to need to do, because Facebook needs you to have some people in that audience before you can actually start using it via the API, which is what we're doing. So what you need to do actually is to upload a list of, I believe it's 25 legitimate email addresses to populate that audience from the start before it will show up as an option in their API and thus in Ontraport. So you're gonna click that customer list button, and then it's going to allow you to upload a list, and you can get a list, of course, by exporting. Here, I'll go back here. We already set this up. So, of course, you can come into your contacts. You can select, some people and select all in group or whatever and export that list. You'll be able to import that back into Facebook and create that 25 person list at least. I believe there's a review period, so they're going to actually have to review your list and your kind of setup before they give it the stamp of approval. I don't know how long that takes, probably relatively quickly. They're trying to get your money after all. And then once that happens, your custom audience will show up in Ontraport. So for example, if I wanted to take all these people all in group and click on Facebook, the custom audience that I would have created, I'd say add, or I can also remove them from a bucket, but right now I'm going to add them. And then I'd click here, and here we are, all of the custom audiences that I have created in the past here, and I can select them here and submit. I'm not going to do that right now because this is real, but they will end up in that process manually. Now, if I want to do this automatically, what I would do, let's make sure this is working here. Yeah, so look at this, Facebook custom audience. So here's what I would do. I would say, I'd probably go like, okay, let's say they filled out a form. Contact submits a form, and the form is, what is this form? It's, my ebook. Do I have an ebook form? Yeah, ebook opt-in form. Okay, cool. Somebody fills out my ebook opt-in form. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to remove them from my cold Facebook audience list, and I'm going to add them to the next stage, which is going to be something like get a free trial or something like that, right? Or get a demo, whatever it might be for you. So I can search in here. It's actually probably under advanced. If I just type in Facebook, you'll see that show up. Or if I go under advanced, it's probably here too. Facebook custom audience. So we'll come in here, and I'm going to say add them. First, I'm going to remove them from the old one. So what am I going to remove them from? Some kind of cold list. I don't know. Say it's just going to be that one for now. And that's it. And then I'm going to come back here and do it again. Facebook custom audience. So I've removed them from one list. Now I'm going to add them to the next one. Boom. And finish this up, end it, and publish it, and away we go, right? People that fill out the opt-in are going to get added to or removed from one custom audience and added to the next. That's actually as challenging as this is, not very challenging at all. So the real work is going to happen in Facebook Ads Manager. It's going to happen in, with your creative thinking about how to use this feature. You're going to be wanting to segment people by their stage in the customer lifecycle. You can also do it by the problem. We've talked about how to segment people in the past here in videos, other Training Tuesdays. Be segmenting people by the problem that they have. And that you're there to solve. They're looking to get a certain problem solved. You want to figure out what problem it is that they want solved so that you can speak to them in a more relevant way. This would be another great way to do that. If you can figure out what problem they want solved, how do you do that? Well, by noticing which ebook they download, maybe noticing which ad they clicked on. Maybe you just ask them in a forum, contact us, what's your problem? Drop-down field, whatever it might be. You capture that information, and then boom, add them to a Facebook custom audience that will show them ads that are related to the problem that they have. Because most people don't care about the other problems you might solve, they care about their own problem, right? So best to be relevant. Okay, I think that's the long and short of it. This is actually not very complicated. The most complicated part of this is going to be the Facebook Ads Manager part, but you're going to have to learn how to do that from Facebook and not from us. But the integration is really quite simple. Hopefully that was helpful, and we will see you on a Training Tuesday soon. Thanks for showing up.